but
We're
I know. Let's this way better.
there. You go. Chat with Dean Oleson, part 2.
Men are typically not scared of spiders, but we have a different fear that we never talk to women about. I'm going to tell you the big secret tonight here on the stage. Ladies, if you want to know what men secretly fear, next time you go to see a movie, look around the theater. See if you see two men that went to see that movie together. Hey, you want to sit over here? Yeah, he's a pretty good seat. Cool. All right, yeah, I'm cool. All right. Oh, woo, almost forgot. One seat apart. Okay. Because that middle seat is the sexual insecurity separation seat. Women don't have this problem. Women's attitudes are, you know what, if we didn't walk in lesbians, chances are we won't walk out lesbians.
Time it's different. Better?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
So, before we got interrupted, that's interesting what you said about the length of time, these interviews, or not interviews, chats, should be. What will people watch? Will they watch 5 minutes, 10 minutes? Well, I suppose it depends on you, really.
Well, also the subject matter.
And the subject matter, yeah. But so if anybody wants to leave a comment on how much they're willing to watch, that would be interesting to know. And then I can also chop it up into sections, part 1 and part 2, that kind of thing.
Well, I kind of look at my usage of YouTube, and I don't know if I'm typical or not, but if it's something entertaining or funny, it's usually much shorter. But if it's something like, I'm a big history buff, right? And so if there's a great documentary on an era of history that I love, I'll watch it for 20 minminutes, 30 minutes,
Yeah.
It just depends.
Same here. I like to play poker, so I'll watch poker tournaments and things like that. I can watch that for an hour,
Right.
And Joe Rogan, I mean, he's really incredible at what he does, and he's got great guests, and some of his go for 2-3 hours. I'll watch the whole thing.
Yeah, Joe Rogan's probably the best in the biz right now.
Yeah, in my opinion, absolutely, yeah. So, the story I was going to tell was how I became a headliner, and it was thanks to you. We were on that Donna Richards run. I believe it was that very first time, and I'd been doing some stuff around LA. I've been, working regularly in a room in Palm Springs and doing one-nighters around the LA area. But I'm working out of state. You were one of the first people, like I said. So you said that you thought I was funny. And I thought, oh, you think you could help me get work? And oh, yeah, sure, no problem. Yeah. Hey, I got the Punchline up in Vancouver, man. You could headline that. I go, oh, wow, really cool. And
Leif,
yeah,
I'm so sorry.
What happened?
My wife's trying to get into the door. Can we cut this too?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Yeah. I'm not gonna cut it. I'm just gonna wait. And I think he thinks I'm cutting this.
So if we can, and if you look how I have it set up there, so just keep in mind that as you're walking around, you don't want to be in the shot and you don't want to make a lot of noise. Okay. So
yeah, she can be in the shot.
Just a few minutes, but yeah,
she can be in the shot.
Yeah, that she can be in the shot. Yeah. Sadly, I've just lost a gig.
You lost a gig?
No, I just lost this gig to my wife.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I'm not cutting that out, by the way. I'm not cutting out where you went to the door and told her
great,
to shut up and all that stuff.
Because it's so compelling.
It makes it real, dude. I'm keeping it real. Yeah. So anyway, so you told me that, and you're a nice guy, and then a lot of us, I didn't hear anything more about it. So I'm like, oh, Dean promised he was going to get me a headline gig at the Punchline, you know? So the last day of the run, I figured, well, if I don't do it now, you know, we had hotel rooms right next to each other. So I knock on your door and you answer, and you just got out of the shower. You got a towel wrapped around you. I remember this like it was yesterday. And I said, hey, Dean, remember you said you were going to put in a word for me up at the Vancouver Punchline? And you go, oh, yeah, I'll do that. I go, great. And I had the phone with a long extension cord right there and handed it to you. And and you're, oh, okay, all right. And I made you, and you're good enough, nice enough to make the phone call right there. It was like, and you made the phone call, and this is how much juice you had. You know, they didn't know me. They'd never seen me. And you got the owner on the line, and you said, hey, I got Leif Skiving right here. He's really funny. I think you should headline for you. Then you handed me the phone, and the guy goes, okay, what dates have you got open? And it's like, holy shit, Dean's got juice.
Yeah, not much, but
so that's one of my fondest memories, you know, of getting started in the business. So I really appreciate. I don't know if I ever thanked you for that. I really appreciate that.
You know, it's seriously my pleasure, because if I had any juice at all, a little bit of juice, it's like, why not give it to somebody who earned it? You know, I mean, it wasn't charity, my friend. You earned it. So
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that goes a long way with just the friendship here, because you've always been a good guy, and it's always been a pleasure to work with you and stuff. And so, and I've also worked with you. You've booked me in things too. You know?
Right.
So it's always fun. It's always fun.
always fun. Always works both ways, and I always have people asking for you back when I book you. So that's no charity either. You know, it helps me. You know,
it always works that way. You know, and the thing is like this guy told me once. He goes, you got to work and you got to have buddies. If you can combine the two, you're lucky as hell. You know, and that's the way it happens.
Yeah. You don't want to piss too many people off. So.
No. Although I found a way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, let's hear it. Let's talk about
it. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, listen, So anyway, so on that sentimental note, on that ego stroking, self-congratulatory, phony compliments to each other. That on that note, that showbiz note, maybe we should end this. But I'll turn it into a two-parter, because we've been talking for a long time. So it'd be fun to do it again too. Anytime, because you know, it's weird because I don't come in contact with as many comics as I used to. Of course, not working the road. It's fun to talk about, and I try to avoid the trap of turning it into, oh, those were the old days, you know, and stuff like that. But how could you help it completely? You know, I mean, that's our point of reference. Well, that's, you know, what you have in life is memories. Really, that's what you do. You build memories, because that's what you live on, and the memories are always better than the real situation. You know, you can laugh about the 10-hour drives, even though your legs were cramped at the time, and maybe you're having fun talking to the guy, but you couldn't wait to get out of that goddamn car, stretch your legs, and you know. But hey, memories, you know. That's
speaking of which, can I tell a quick story about a Canada run? So when we would run Canada for Yuck Yucks, as you well know, some of these gigs are long distance apart, right?
Yeah.
So they would give us a rental car and off we'd go. And I'm driving along because I was the opener at the time. And we were like at least 100 miles to the next sign of civilization. And I glanced at the car and we're on fumes. And nothing's behind us and nothing's ahead of us. And I went, oh my God, how could we have been so dumb? And so the other comic and I were talking, we're like, I go, look, this is farm country. Let's find a farmhouse that maybe we can buy a few gallons of gas from, right?
Wow.
So off in the distance, we see this little house, which looks like a little square, you know, so far away. We pulled into the driveway And this guy comes walking out. He's a little suspicious. What do you boys need? And I just said, hey, I told him the story. We're low on gas. He goes, oh, you're not going to see any gas station for a long time. And I said, would you mind terribly if we bought some gas from you? And he goes, yeah, I'll sell you a little gas, And so he put enough in our car to get us to the next exit, right? And as we started the car up, and I was thanking him, and he goes, you coming back through this way? And I said, yeah. And he goes, when? And I said, oh, I don't know, tomorrow, probably about, 2:00, midday, something like that. He goes, well, be sure to wave hello, And I said, yeah, right. So we go up, we do the gig, have fun, everything's great. We're heading back, and we're, again, over 100 miles away. It's a long ways away. And all of a sudden, the other comic turned to me, he says, remember that farmhouse from yesterday? Isn't it around here somewhere? And I said, yeah, this looks familiar. And I went, oh my God, there's the farmer, his wife, and his kids in lawn chairs waiting for us to drive by.
No way.
Swear, hand to God. And we're going down this 2-lane highway, and I go, holy. And so the two of us wave, they wave back. And as we pass them, they're folding up their chairs and going inside.
No, you were the show.
That was it.
Show's over.
I just loved it. It's like so nice, so classic Canadian too. Very nice people and everything.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things, the chances of that happening, what the hell?
Right. Yeah. Good memory.
I know. Oops.
There you go.
Sorry, I'm drunk. I just dropped the entire room.
You're doing it with the phone is good quality, man.
I hear it's a great camera. It's I got to have two numbers on one phone, and that's proving to be a pain in the ass. But it is what it is. Are you going to come out to Seattle sometime soon?
You know what? I am planning on it, and like I said, I'm still toying with the idea of moving. So definitely, as soon as I get my second vaccine, I will do that. Cool. I am planning on it. Yeah. And cool. I will get a hotel room or a whatchamacallit, Airbnb, and I'll maybe stay for a week, and maybe we can we'll have to hang out because you're going to be my realtor showing me around.
That's right, mister. And I charge by the hour, which is different than a lot of realtors.
Oh, okay. I thought the seller paid that, but all right, that's all right. Nope.
Not in my world. It's gonna be fun to hang out, and I hope we're helpful to some of your viewers, because it is an interesting business, and it is it's filled with misinformation and murkiness, and because it just seems so nebulous. You don't know how. There's none of this stuff where you take this class and then you take this class and then you graduate onto the stage. It's all kind of hard to nail down. So I hope that some of the stuff is helpful.
Yeah. And I think it's some people find it interesting because you always get people after the show going, so how does it work? Are you working a circuit?
Right.
How do you, so that's what I'm trying to do with this channel is just what's comedy really like. I mean, what the famous people are, you see famous people all the time doing shows or doing interviews. But there's a lot of people, I call them the funniest, most talented people you've never heard of. And they're out there on the road, and they're working, and they're just as funny as anybody else, but they just don't live in a big city. They don't pursue movies and not television, all that stuff. They're just working comics. Yeah. And that's what it's all about on this channel. Comedy Road. It's
almost like the middle class, for lack of a better term, of
journeyman.
Yeah. But it seems like they're gone in a way, not completely, but I mean, there's no place to make money in that middle band.
It's tough.
Yeah. And if you're very famous, the Chris Rocks, the Seinfelds, the Louis C.K.'s, and all that kind of stuff, you're going to do just fine because you're filling major auditoriums, and rightfully so. They're all great.
Yeah.
But for the middle of the road guys who aren't, men and women who aren't famous, just need to be working and paying bills and all that. It's tougher now than ever before, I think.
Yeah. And I think it goes back to what you were saying about comedians these days, you know, looking back, being very good, some very good comedians coming up these days. It's because there is less work. That's what I think. There is less work, so the cream rises to the top, and you've got to be that. You got to be that good to get the gigs. You got to be better to get the gigs.
True, but you know what's interesting is most of the major great comics out today came from the middle class, doing the same kind of road work you and I were doing.
Absolutely. And the other way I look at it is like, you know, you got the majors, and then you got your AAA ball, your AA, your single A, and you work your way up. And sometimes it's about your talent. Sometimes it's about your talent and the breaks.
Right.
And in a few cases, it's just about the breaks, just about who you know.
Right. But those people never last very long.
Right.
They got to get the goods, you know.
Right.
And when I watch specials, be it anything from Brian Regan to you know, again, Chris Rock, or you know, any of these people, or you know, you have to deliver the goods on a regular basis. And if you've got your first step from who you know, congratulations, that's great. But you know, you got to still run the path. You know,
there's a lot of those people that have had 10 minutes of fame, and then they got to go out and do an hour, you know, and they just don't have it. So
you know who I hooked up with on Facebook for the first time in decades, and we shared a good laugh about the old days, was, remember Chicago Steve Barkley?
That goes way back, and I think I met him in the San Francisco comedy competition. He was emceeing one night. That's all I know.
Right. Well, I opened for him in I actually opened for him a couple times, but I remember once in Portland, he was probably the biggest practical joker, and he was really good at it. And so I remember once he had a vehicle. We went to downtown Portland, parked in this parking garage where there's a what do you call that, little booth with an attendant sitting there, you know. And this particular guy, I think he was Middle Eastern or something, and Chicago Steve and I are walking out of the car, and we have to walk past the booth to get out onto the sidewalk, right? And out of the clear blue sky, Steve starts yelling, "Here, boy! Here, boy! Here, Klaus!" And the guy in the booth's going, "Are you missing a dog?" And he just goes, "Yeah, it's a German Shepherd. It's very, very dangerous. Come on, boy. Klaus, Klaus." And this poor guy went insane. "Well, you should call the police. Oh my God." No, we do not want the police involved, you know, and I'm just dying. Oh my God. I thought that poor guy, to this day, probably horrified. And the entire way outside of the parking garage, Steve is still yelling, "Here, Klaus! Here, boy!" I thought, and so we bumped into each other virtually on Facebook. And I just said, "You remember that thing like that?" And he just cracked up. He was so good at that kind of stuff. And there's a lot of comics that are really good at having fun off stages as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't have the balls to do that, you know.
Yeah, my level of assholery is just shy. It's close, but just shy.
Yeah, I think about it. I just don't act on it.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
Of course, you know.
Yeah, so if you see the dog, if he comes at you, yell, "Nicht! Nicht!"
Yeah. Yeah, even just calling the dog Klaus.
Yeah.
What the fuck? But it all just came to him like that. He would just do stuff like that. And you know, half the time I was kind of like going, "Oh, Dad, you're embarrassing us," you know. But it was, in retrospect, it was some of the most fun I had on the road.
I don't know if I'm still recording or not. I hit the end button, but I didn't hit the end meeting for all button. But just out of curiosity, I was going to ask you, who's the most famous person that you've worked with?
God, I've been really lucky, man. I mean, I've worked with Seinfeld. I've worked with Robin Williams, Dennis Miller, Dana Carvey, Ellen DeGeneres. I've been very, very lucky. You know, I can't say we're all old friends, but it was Brian Regan a number of times.
A, you're very good, and B, you live in an area where these people come through and need an opening act. Would that be fair?
I think so. And because I generally worked clean, in my old age, I've gotten bluer.
Right.
But I think they liked that,
Right.
I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun. And it's so weird when I see them on TV now. It's like, oh shit, we hung out.
Right.
Kind of fun. Except with Robin Williams. He just came in, worked one night. He'd walk off stage and go right through the audience and out the front door. Yeah, so I never got to hang or talk to him or anything.
Right. Also, that guy in Tacoma.
Oh yeah.
SNL dude.
Yeah, from SNL. What's his name? The ladies' man.
Oh, right. I can't think. I'm drawing a blank.
I know, me too. But anyway. But just tons, and like I said, it's just mostly good luck, and it's been a fun run,
Yeah, absolutely. I live in Caldwell, Idaho, so I got a call once to open for Weird Al Yankovic. Well, you, but Weird Al Yankovic. That's like because if I don't live. Well, I'm not trying to take anything away from you, but I mean, when you live in Caldwell, Idaho, you don't get a chance to open for a lot of famous people coming through,
Right.
So
that is a thing. Talk about Weird Al Yankovic. Quick story here, and this is something you don't want to publish, so you don't, or I don't get sued. But I got an evening at the Improv. I've actually seen it. It's on Amazon. I'm on there, and it was painful to watch.
Well, let me tell you something about painful. I am right now converting my old VHS tapes to digital.
Oh dear God!
And you got to do it in real time. You can't just download a VHS tape.
Right.
So it's like I start watching it and go, I got to leave the room. I can't watch.
I know.
I did that on stage. That was my act. Oh my God.
Well, I actually have some people who came to see me my first open mic, and they go, "Hey, are you still doing the bit about that?" I go, nah. Don't even say it. I don't want to hear it.
And some of it, I'm embarrassed to say, I did for years and years, and I'm going, why did I not drop that bit?
I know. God, I got somebody texting me left and right.
Okay, all right. One quick thing, just Gilbert Gottfried. I worked with him over at the Tacoma Club. Yeah, and he said something funny that when you get older, I mean, he's been doing it longer than me, but I can totally relate. We've been doing it long enough. The only thing, we didn't talk much at all. We were both kind of quiet, just sitting in the green room. And all of a sudden he breaks the silence and he says, sometimes I wish they just come in here and tell me the club is on fire and we can go back to the hotel room.
So I've never worked with him, but I always wanted to.
Yeah. Sweet guy, really sweet guy.
He seems that way.
Yeah. I didn't want to talk. I mean, I didn't want to, be a fan and start blabbing because he was being very quiet, but I said, yeah, I can relate. I think that all the time. It's like, if the show's been canceled, I can go back to the hotel room.
Oh God. Oh my God. I love some, that's the thing about some comics. If you ever work with a hero and they have a killer bit or even a killer one-liner, it's just like that perfect meal. It just tastes good. It smells good. It's just wonderful, Yeah. Well,
So,
great talking to you, buddy.
Yeah, you too. You too. Thanks for doing this, man. Appreciate it. And
My pleasure.
all right. We'll be seeing you.
Okay, and
right.
call me when you head over to the Emerald City here, buddy.
Yeah, we'll do. All
All
right,
right,
man.
man. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.